Good evening. It is Sunday, July 28th at about 10:30 p.m. My name is Nick, and you are watching my blog, Experience Points. One thing, first off, I'm trying something a little different with the camera. Again, I'm still recording on my iPhone, so I apologize that the quality isn't the best, and that it kind of limits what I can do with these video posts. But at the same time, it's really my only option unless I want to use the webcam on my laptop, which is not very good. So there's that. Another thing too is I'm trying something a little different. I realize that my video, or at least this video in particular, is a little longer than what I originally expected. The light seems a little weird. Hang on. Yeah, let's go with that. This video was coming out a little bit longer than what I originally expected, and it was, my hands were getting tired holding the iPhone up like I usually do for the 5, 7 minute, 8 minute videos that I normally have. So in this case, I just have it set up here. We're going to try this out. Hopefully this works. But anyway, another thing too is I'm going to apologize. You're going to have to excuse me. My voice is a little raspy. The last 4 nights I've been doing the play Dearly Departed. We're now halfway done with the performances, and we pick up again this coming Thursday, August 1st. And my character that I play in this performance, has a lot of screaming, or at least has a pretty consistent screaming during the last scene, and it's a hilarious play, great character, and I'm really enjoying the experience from it. But it's kind of taking a toll on my vocal cords, so I'm going to tone it down the next couple days. But you're going to have to excuse that for this video here. As far as, the play's been going great. I talked about it in my last video. It's been just absolutely wonderful. The cast and the crew are amazing people, and I'm very blessed and very fortunate to be working alongside these such wonderful and talented individuals. If anybody who normally takes part in that play is watching this video, shout out to you. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate having the opportunity to work beside you. And then also shout out to anybody who has actually gone and seen the play. For my friends from my regular gaming group, Steven, Jessica, Sean, and Kip, thank you very much. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to my parents, if you end up watching this video. I really appreciate that, and I hope to see more people in this coming weekend. So let's get right to the point. Primarily, my video posts, traditionally, on Experience Points, follow a 3 kind of topic format where I cover what I'm doing in the role-playing game industry, with Round 10 Gaming, what I'm doing to further my education, my career in education, in high school English education, and significant or substantial events in my life since my last post. This video is going to look primarily different from those. This video I'm pretty much going to be talking about some upcoming stuff for Round 10 and the role-playing game work that I'm doing. If that doesn't interest you, feel free to shut the video off now. I won't blame you. I won't hold it against you. And as always, I am always looking forward to feedback, whether it's comments posted on this video, on the Experience Points blog, whether it's an email that you send to support@round10rpg.com, or you know how to get a hold of me by this point. If I am always looking for your feedback, so anything and everything, hey, it's appreciated. So let's jump right into it. Tonight, I literally, in the last half hour, and by half hour I mean the last 15 minutes, got back to my apartment from seeing a film with some friends. The film we saw was The Conjuring. It's a modern horror film. I was kind of looking forward to it because I've heard decent things about it. Unfortunately, I walked out of it not very happy with it. As far as modern horror movies go, it was pretty good, but I'm a huge fan of the horror genre, and unfortunately that also means I'm very particular about my horror films. I'm very particular about my films in general, but usually I can appreciate them for what they're trying to do. In this one, there were just some scenes that I ended up laughing more than I actually felt scared. It had some really disturbing images in it at some points, so there were a couple of kind of highlights, but overall it was, I'd call it a rental. Like, if I had rented this movie and watched it, I'd probably feel pretty satisfied with it. But having gone to it in the theaters, not so much. But so what it made me start thinking about is Round 10 and kind of my work with the Round 10 role-playing game and where I'm going with that in the future. Now, some of you who've been keeping up with Round 10 for a while now know that there are 3 major products that are being planned in the next year and a half. And those are the Round 10 Core Rulebook, which is set to come out pretty quick here in the next month and a half-ish kind of time frame. The Zimmeldron Setting Module, which is the first kind of source book for Round 10, That's going to be a low fantasy setting with dinosaurs and knights and steampunk and all that kind of stuff. And then there is the third book, and whether it's going to come out directly after Zimmeldron or maybe a little bit later is uncertain yet, but it's a horror source book. And its working title is Otherworld. And I've been thinking a lot about Otherworld and kind of what I want to do with it and where I kind of want to go with it. I originally just wanted to do just a straight horror book and be like, this is what horror is, this is what horror looks like in a role-playing game, this is how you do that, and here's some ways to help you do that. But I realized, especially tonight, after considering this movie and other horror movies and what I liked about this movie, what I didn't like, and what, kind of that preference and what works and what doesn't work, I thought that, maybe I should really look into the structure of Otherworld and present it in a different way. And I realized that horror as a genre it's a kaleidoscope of options. It really is. There are so many different options when you talk about horror. It's kind of like talking about metal or rock when you think about music. There's so many different subgenres, so many different subtypes of rock and metal. That saying that, yeah, I like rock music is like saying I like pizza. Well, what kind of pizza do you like? Well, everybody likes pizza, but there's some pizzas that people don't like and there's some that people do like. So I was thinking about that with horror, and what I decided on is 5 major subgenres to talk about in the Otherworld source book. And those 5 subgenres will be split up, and the biggest thing that I think Otherworld would do differently from other role-playing game source books that deal with horror, the one thing that Round 10 is really going to handle differently is the thematic breakdown of these different subgenres. What it means to tell a story in these subgenres. How a story can fit into these and how it can be successful. And then how you can take that narrative breakdown and that understanding of the themes of these genres and apply it to a role-playing game effectively. Now, obviously, that's a pretty pretentious thing for me to undertake and say, this is how you do a cosmic horror game. But at the same time, too, I think that from the storytelling aspect, from the writing and the narrative aspect, I at least have a decent enough background and education to kind of help with that. And then obviously research is going to take a huge part in it as well. And I have some great partners to help me kind of weed through the mess of things and extract the really important information from these subgenres. So this is what the book is going to look like. It's going to be broken into 5 parts. There'll probably be an introduction, and kind of like, this is what horror looks like in a role-playing game, this is what works, this is what doesn't work, and kind of just maybe a couple pages of build-up and giving you an idea of how to use the book and what the book has in it. Then there'll be 5 major sections, and each section will represent a different subgenre. And within each of those sections, there will be subsections that talk about the thematic breakdowns, what it means to tell a story in that subgenre of horror, how you can adapt that story to tabletop role-playing, what to expect as a player, or how to handle it as a game master, new enemies and stat blocks, and abilities and powers and character options for that subgenre. And then finally, ideas for adventure hooks, what settings, what eras work, what would work best, some interesting ideas to try from a setting standpoint, and then some like basic adventure hooks and stuff like that, things to get you started. So really this book will be pretty much, this book plus the Round 10 core rulebook, it should be everything that you need in order to play any horror game, at least